Hello and welcome to another video. I'm going to be covering a few bits in here, bit of pottering around, but yeah, I hope you enjoy. So those two straps are in. I just need to fix them on at the top. And also what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in these bolts. So I've got these hex head M10 bolts. And they're shorter than that and they've different thread to that. I'll just show you one out of the box. There we are. So they're just over 100 mil and they're to go up here to fix the joist to the rafters all the way across. As they do go up, then they're touching, except from this one here. It's the only one in the build which I need to do blocking for. It's just to keep it consistent at the 400 centers. I should have just done it just under, just as that's the midpoint of the building right here. But yeah, any point where they meet, which is the rest of the way around the building, all these ones, they'll all be fixed through. So I've got a couple of those boxes. I've got my impact wrench, which might be a bit heavy to use. This thing, you just obviously put them in there when you get the right size socket bit in. But other pottering around jobs I can do is just cleaning and tidying. So there's a lot to be done. Need to get one more tile to go up here, which I can't quite do at the moment. Need to one more and then that's done. Yeah, all the way around. These ones obviously left out for that section there. All the tiles are cleared off the roof. And that very top is to be bedded on. And yeah, you can see it there, it's that ridge, the very top. So you see where those 2 points meet, it would just be all bedded on and then stood right up. Oh, neighbours' racing pigeons are out. But yeah, lots of rubble, lots of wood to still get rid of, and I've still got those tiles which I need to sort out, whereas they've got quite overgrown here. They can be sold on. They do have a residual value. Apparently you can get up to 20 pence per tile and there's about 1,000 there, so, or at least 1,000, a couple of thousand good ones. And then I've got that massive rubble pile there, which a lot of people would say just smash it up and use it as hardcore. I've done that before. It costs you too much time unless you've got like something to crush them. You get those mini crushers, unless you've got something like that. And even so, the cost of getting in hardcore and just getting rid of it, it's a massive time saving. It's a bit of a problem really, because I like the idea of not having stuff leave the site and just having a machine turn up and then churn it all up, and then you can compact it and you can do your driveways on it, your patios, but it doesn't make sense time wise, and especially one hand out of action, as I'll be manually crushing a lot of it, sledgehammers and whatnot. And I think a crusher, cheapest I've ever seen was like 200-300 quid for a weekend, and then I'd still have to process it all through the machine. The time, I don't think it's worth it, because you end up just being able to get rid of it all in a couple of days and get it dropped off, but time wise it's a couple of hours of your time versus 20 odd hours of your time in the crusher producing all the dust. And it's easier to start from fresh, I think. Maybe for my skill set, easier to start from fresh. But yeah, I'll get all these bolts in down here now. The M10 coach bolts, I'm using an impact driver, a 1/4 inch impact driver, instead of my impact wrench, which is a 1/2 inch impact wrench, which is what you usually undo like lug nuts or bolts from car wheel nuts, those sorts of things. It's a bit heavy duty for this, and it's a lot heavier of a tool. So if you're carrying it up and you're trying to balance with one hand, and yeah, recipe for disaster where I'm one hand down. But yeah, going around every point where a joist meets, so one of the ceiling joists or floor joists, I guess, meets a rafter where they're all touching, I'm just bolting them together so they're solid, so they operate as one structure, so you don't get spread or anything. They are fixed down into each other with 90mm nails already, but this is just more of a permanent fixing that's going to pull them together, and then it's solid and building control will be happy then. And yeah, it's every single point around the building. So I've gone around most of the building, I've got most of them in. I've used one whole box. I've got another box somewhere but I'm in a state of tidying up, as you can see out here, and I'm sure I'll stumble across them in a minute, but at the moment can't find them. So I'm just going to tidy until I find them, and then that'll be the last of those in. And after that, what do I need to do? I'll probably take this little section of wall out here, so I can knock those bricks, just work real slow, real safe. Just tap them out with this brick hammer and chuck them out here, and then I can rearrange them and stack them nicely, or as nicely as can be. Anyway, yeah, I'll get on with that now. So as you may notice, some of the bricks in there are new. When I was originally going through the property and you're trying to get a feel for it, trying to plan out where everything's going to go, I essentially didn't know what would be happening with this window. So I was assuming it was going to be just a window again, but plans change, so it's just coming out and it's knocking out all those bricks. Most of them are no good anyway, so they'll just be going in the rubble pile, and it's little jobs that I can do one-handed, so good to get on with these jobs. They're boring, but yeah, it's pushing on, and then this will eventually be the doorway to lead to the back garden. Okay, so that section's chopped out. I can't take it all the way or do the outside, but that window will just become the outside door to replace it with this one. It'll be straight out. So here, I think this wall is coming out now, and this will just be part of the kitchen, which you can see here. So I'll probably leave this doorway, block this one up. This probably be sofa location or TV location, and this or this side I haven't quite decided yet. But as you see across the room, it's quite a long room. I think it's nearly 9 meters. What we got? 1, 2, 3, 4-ish, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, around 9 meters. And that will just be kitchen around that section, like a breakfast bar-y thing here, going into the bay window, with some nice seats in there. Maybe do like a alcove seating area in there. But it'd be a bit of a cold spot, so I need to work out my radiator locations. I might do a radiator here, here, and then one down the end by the window. But not 100% decided on those yet. Still up in the air, but I need to decide that before obviously my boiler and everything is ready to be commissioned. Again, just trying to keep on top of it, get rid of general waste in the general waste. I need to clear up my car so I can do some gentle tip runs, and then yeah, start making some progress again, because it kind of pushes you down a little bit when this is sort of what you've dedicated your life to. In a way, you're sacrificing other things, and when you can't do it because obviously you pushed too hard, you made a mistake, it hurts more. But being positive about it, it's great to be back here doing even little bits. So if I can keep making progress every day, or every day I can come here, it's just chipping away at it, and then it doesn't get on top of you and you feel good about it. So race against the clock, get this kitchen sort of planned out, and then I can start putting in the first fix items, because realistically the first fix electrics could be done if I know my kitchen plan, if I know where everything's going, and that's a job I'm not doing. So I'm getting in a pro, sister's boyfriend Jack, if he watches this, and then it takes them off my plate. So I located the last of the bolts, going around putting these in. Your other options really are, you see a lot of people doing threaded bar and the washer plates along with the little nuts, and that pulls the ends of the timbers together. Previously, and all the local houses to this would just be nails, unless they've had some work done recently. This is more just an expectation in modern building standards, but it does the job. So with the roof done up there, still need to chop out either side of this arch and maybe still do a porch, but scaffolding needs to come down first. Should be coming down in the next week or so, which will be lovely. Need to clear out some of this rubbish to make it a bit more hospitable for the scaffolders. But yeah, super excited to get that down, because it's just been there for ages. I just explained to the guy who put it up that I nearly lost my finger up there. So yeah, it's the worst thing he's ever seen. But yeah, just on perspective jobs, and other than doing that porch, the only other thing I mentioned was this wall out, because obviously that was the old kitchen. If you go back and see the original video, it was a kitchen with, I always forget the name of these, and people remind me, but it had like a little separate room in here, like a larder cupboard, I guess. Yeah, the original idea was just to have this room as a separate utility, where you got your washing machine, tumble dryer, dishwasher, maybe a sink in there, because you can fit, it's 1.8 meters that way, so you can fit 3 units in that side or 3 units in this side, or both. And the gas main, that's the gas main, so the original plan was to have the boiler there. However, apparently I can't use that gas main because the gas has been shut off at the road, apparently. Although part of me is tempted just to see if I'd turn it on, see if it comes on, but let's not do that. It means I can have the gas in a slightly different location, but it'll probably be fed to pretty much the exact same point anyway, somewhere along this wall. And then that would be my boiler, because I'll use a combi boiler system, and that will be my hot water source, so where all my radiators and everything need to run from, and where my hot water for sink and bathroom will come from. But it's one of those things where you're trying to plan out these situations. Spending more time in the house helps me make more plans as to how the space will work, because again, it's like a small apartment really if you think about it. But yeah, with this blocked off, be a decent front room size, and you could have like either a coffee table over here, or I think just the bay window seat set up with a little table that comes out maybe like to here. You sit like 4 or 5 people around it, as you can sit right into the bay window, because again, that's 1.8 meters across 6 foot. So you just have a seating area wrap around here, just using my pointy finger as a prop, wrap around here, and then a table in the middle here. And then obviously have like my oven over here somewhere, sink down by that window. And then, yeah, then it's a fairly decent kitchen for such a small place. But once that scaffolding's down as well, I can get an external lintel, one of these concrete ones, just to tie the 2 parts of the building together. It doesn't hold really any weight on it. It's such a spread load all the way across, because at the moment there's nothing there, and that is the old doorway on the outside, still needs the exterior brickwork doing, and this needs tidying up here, but I've got in loads of extra wall ties all up there. Just need to do the same down here. You can see all the wall ties poking out of the block work. But I'm going to have to take down all the scaffolding and do the soffit fascia afterwards, but obviously where it's a bungalow, it's not too much of an issue. But yeah, then it's on to more exciting jobs. Hopefully my finger's working a little bit better and I can get the plumbing and the insulation done. But I'm going to probably see me chopping out this wall soonish. Not today though. I think I've had enough for today, and so's my finger. So start of the new day, I've got to do my cuts down either side. I'm using a bit of dust suppression. It does work really well, but just wearing a mask as well, because I don't want silicosis in my lungs. And the annoying thing about this 9-inch disc cutter, it's not quite enough to go all the way through a brick, so you're left with about almost an inch, just a bit under an inch. So I need to finish it off with my recip saw with a masonry bit. So there's the initial chops on there. It's annoying because I've repaired that wall, but needs must, and plan changes. Just have a slightly bigger kitchen slash living room area, rather than having that separate little room over there to do all the utility stuff in. Which makes sense from a noise front if you want the noise segregated, but you're still going to hear it. And down the opposite end above the bow windows, a little bit of repair work needed up here, and then something to go across to catch the plasterboard. You can see the inside interior of those rafter feet, and then like the 6x2 put on there, which is going to be my fixing point for my fascia board. The soffit underneath, that's got there's like feet attached. You can't actually see them from here. There. But they will need to be dropped down a little bit lower. It's just the scaffolding is in the way at the moment, so I've got to wait for that scaffolding to come out, and then I can get those the soffit fascia in. But I need to get the exterior lintels on so I can get my windows ordered, and then I'm gonna chop out sections here so I can add in some more wall ties, and here as well. So just slice into the brickwork and then slide in the wall ties and repoint it. Sorry, the light's gone all funny, but yeah, repoint it. Which is going to be the same in this little window as well, just more wall ties. There's a few in there, but not too many. None you can see there. So just slice out sections of the brickwork here, here, here. Similar to that. And then the structure's a lot more solid around the windows, which will be opening and closing and whatnot. You don't want it to separate from the building or the wall to fold. So yeah, that'll be part of the repair work. So I cast a vote on whether I should have this wall in or not. Unanimous decision that I should remove it. So just taking everything out, again, one-handed, but yeah, trying to pick all the good bricks out as I'll need to reuse them. Lots of them where they've been covered in plaster before aren't great, and some are cracked, and some are just metric ones that I patched in. So lots of rubbish. So most of it's out now, just that little section there which is cut, but not going to overdo it today. Short day and go wash up, but quite happy with that. The room feels drastically bigger already. Don't know if there's anything in here for scale, but it's basically about 3 meters across here in that section. And yeah, it'll just allow me to run a kitchen all the way down here. And then, I don't know, maybe I could do an island out here a little bit. Who knows, a little nub section. And then still thinking alcove seating in this area. Not too sure. But I have a kitchen appointment with Howdens where they actually come out and then measure it all up and then do a design for you. So I'll spitball it with them, see what they recommend and go from there. But yeah, they're coming next week, so got to get this all spick and span. And then once I know roughly what the kitchen plan is, then I can work out all the electrics. As for the plumbing, I sort of know where everything's going. Still need to run that water main in down there, so I need to dig that a bit deeper and then bring it in underneath the wall, because currently it runs into the bathroom, but that's not going to be its future home. You sort of see it going up there. Plan will be to have it underneath the kitchen sink. Then you just, if you've got a leak or something, you just go underneath the kitchen sink and turn it off. But yeah, I've got to work out what insulation's going in the floor, but that'll be done after plumbing and electrics. But I want it watertight for winter, so want the windows all in by the end of September, ideally, and functioning lights would be nice. And then I'm on to like the interior jobs, like putting in the toilet and things like that. Windows have served their time. They've been in there like 100 years, so time for them to come out, something new to go in. However, over here with this little window, going to make it a little bit bigger, a little bit lower, I think. So sort of like that section there, just so from the sink it's a bit more friendly. As it is high height, you have direct view out there, but not the best. So all the scaffolding is come down now. Very messy site. So yeah, all the scaffolding's down. Still need to put the soffit and fascia up. But those window details, because I'm going to put in bow windows again and then re-render this section. It was a bit too tricky to do the soffit and fascia with the scaffolding that close. You can see it's still a lot of rubble. I need to bring all this forward to this rubble pile and then get a grab lorry in and then break out all this concrete, which is going to be fun because that's a real thick slab. And over here, more concrete. And all these lintel repairs can go in, so concrete lintels to replace the timber ones. I'm not doing metal ones. I think you get too much condensation in them, and it's only a bungalow, so there's only like a few courses of brick above it. Kind of pointless. Then I don't have to bother with the wheat vents and all that rubbish. And yeah, same here, little section repair. But I also need to repair underneath here, so break that section out. And just add in, generally, as I mentioned before, a lot more wall ties. As you can see, there isn't many in there, which is just what pinches the wall together, holds the two skins of wall, like what I've done here. Wall ties. And then chop that section down there, and that will be the doorway. And then block up this old doorway that you can see here, and have another lintel go across here to tie those sections in. And I don't know if you can quite see all the wall ties. There's a bunch there. One there, one there, one there. That will just tie the inside to the outside. And then that box bay window section can go in. And then I can do all the soffit fascia details. I'm just going to trim all this long grass and clear up all these bricks. Just before that, I'm going to take out the rest of that wall. And yeah, I've already done the cuts down the side, so it's just knocking the bricks off and then picking them off. Obviously, I can only use one hand, so it's a lot slower, and I can only take one bucket at a time, just where I'm currently down one finger and the ligaments in my hand. But yeah, my neighbour gave me an ice cream, which lovely, kept me going. She's always feeding me with ice creams. And yeah, just clearing these up and then can go on to tidying the rest of the outside. Because round the front here, you can see all these old bricks. I've got to reuse some of them. So I'm trying to save the good ones. If there's any cracked ones, because they're imperial bricks, they can be trickier to get a hold of or more expensive. And these ones obviously match the colour of the house. They're exactly the same. So if there's any good ones, they're staying and they can be used to patch up those sections around the side. So just splitting those out, and then I can clear this section around the front, get rid of all that weed growth and everything, and move on to the next cleaning job, which is going to be all that driveway. I decided to break out the concrete first. A little bit tricky, trying not to get white finger using this breaker. So white finger is from all the vibrations and everything. So I'm using this one-handed, and it weighs like 25 kilos or so. So it does get quite tiresome, and also as well, it makes a lot of noise. So try not to upset the neighbours too much and only do a bit of it. But I'm going to crack it all, bring it to the front, and then as I bring it to the front, all this rubble, I can then start to get ready for the grab lorries. Because I've been looking around for different prices for grabs, and you can get them for around, this is in Southampton, UK, you can get them for around 150 to 200, where they'll take up to 10, 11 tons of the hardcore, which is all the rubble and bricks, as they'll re-crush this and make it into like a recycled aggregate. You get like different grades of aggregate where it's different sizes and whatnot, but the aggregate's like MOT type sub bases. So the sub bases you would use to put under patios, all sorts, roads, anything really where they're permitted. And this is what I'm essentially doing, is piling all this stuff up so someone can come collect it, take it away, and then I buy it all back in. The reason I don't crush it myself, I've done that before, it's far too time consuming. If you're crushing in the quantity that I need, it doesn't make sense. So the mound's getting bigger. Moved, say, half of that big pile. A couple of wheelbarrows high. Still need to obviously get all this stuff from around here. A little bit of a sweat. But yeah, I can't really do that much at the moment. I can shift rubble with the shovel like that. That's as far as really as the updates can go. So I don't know if anyone wants to see anything in particular in the upcoming videos that I can create. Again, I can't do anything detailed or meticulous till I've got full use of my hand. I can only do a lot of grunt work, labouring. But if anyone does think of anything, I'm just about to plan the kitchen. So as mentioned, kitchen appointment this week, next couple of days. And that will give me the plan for the electrics. I don't know if anyone wants me to film any of the stuff to do with the electrics. I think it's a little bit boring, but yeah, that's coming up. And also as well, I need to run my radiators. I'm doing these, I think, column radiators, so like a Victorian sort of style column radiator. And I think they'll look quite nice. But if anyone can think of anything, let me know. Pretty much an open book. So yeah, I'll catch you in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry it's not a very interesting episode. Still limited, but on the mend. And yeah, thank you for all the well wishes. And I'll never do that again. Never do that again. Right. Catch you later. Bye.